Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hey, I got a fantastic guy on the line with me tonight. Actually, two people that I just love dearly. Been great supporters of My Kind of Country. And Billy has got a brand new album out tonight. We're going to talk about every song, and we're going to play every song for you tonight from this brand new project. And it's a pleasure to welcome Billy Wright and also Janice Passons to My Kind of Country. Guys, how are you tonight?
Oh, doing fine, Scott. Good to hear from you.
Hey there, Scott.
Well, thank you both so much for being on the show tonight. And I just have to thank you both again for the undying support you've given my radio show over all these years and all the mentions on the TV show and just all the support. And I know we all work together, but I just can't thank you guys enough for everything.
Well, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for getting traditional music out there and hanging in there with us, because it's kind of hard on the people like me and all the other traditional writers and songwriters. So we appreciate you for hanging in there with us.
Well, absolutely. And Jan, I know everybody loves your show too. You're on Sunday nights on Ears Radio also, 2 to 7 p.m. And we try to get on there and do the chat with you every week as well, and we have a great time, don't we?
Yes, we sure do.
Well, that is great. And I want to make mention, too, that you every Saturday night, folks can watch a beautiful, just fantastic hour of music on BBB Communications TV, Saturday Night in the Grove. And you can catch it on Facebook. And I know it's on a bunch of different streaming platforms, too, right, Billy?
Oh, yes. It's on 1080, several different channels, and we stream it all over the world, and we get a good response from it. It's been going good for about 2 or 3 years now. And a little bit before that, I did a program for about 10 and a half years with David West called Ciderville. That's where Dolly Parton got started, and Janice worked that show over there, too, some for David. She was a friend of David's for many, many years, and she worked over on that show. I don't know. We had it about 10 and a half years, Scott, and then that COVID hit us, and we lost all of our sponsors, and we just never decided to recoup. So the Channel 12 guy called Janice and asked her, and she put it together. She hollered at me, and then I hollered with Dudley and grabbed a few people and took off. And we're probably in 137 shows right now.
Well, I enjoy it every week. I try to catch it. If I don't catch the original show when you broadcast it, I catch a repeat on there. You can go on the Facebook page there and watch it at any time. So it's great.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we have fun with it. It's one of those TV shows that is really live. It's not edited or nothing. In other words, when he hits that button, we go with it, and it is what it is, and we don't care.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's just it's real, and it's great music, and you guys are just having fun. It's not scripted, and it's just the way it's like if you were just sitting there watching it live. It
is live. It's just 30 minutes. We got about 30 minutes. We pull our cords in and get everything lined up and get everything running as good as we can. And Brad says, "Let's go." You got 5 minutes, and boom, we're gone.
Well, Billy, all of our listeners have been anxiously awaiting brand new music from you, and we've got it tonight. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you've got 11 new songs on this project. The album is called Now Look at You, and we're going to play them all tonight. So I want to go down through all the songs and have you tell us about them. And you have written everything on this project, right?
Absolutely. Starting from first word and the music. I wrote the music and kind of had a little help on the tempo on some of them because, sometimes that tempo is hard to get just right. So Mike DeBills, he kind of helped me out on the tempos, and Jack Milletti, Jack played for Ernest Tubb for many, many years, and Rick Campbell, he was involved in it, and there's just a lot of different people, a lot of good people. We didn't push each other. We just kind of worked it out real good.
Well, it sounds great. I've had a chance to listen to all the songs, and I think they're fabulous. And, of course, you mentioned Jack Milletti, a good friend of mine. I had a chance to meet him a couple different times down in Pigeon Forge at Country Tonight, and he's been on my show. And I'll tell you, what a piece of history he is all unto himself, working with Ernest Tubb and so many other great artists over the years, and what a fabulous guitar player. And Michael DeBills, great piano player, super nice guy. I worked with him at the NACMA show. He kind of headed up the music end of it and got to work with him. Yep, there's the dog. I told you there'd be a dog on the other end.
Yeah, and then we had Junior Mercer on steel. He played with the guy that Johnny Paycheck for years, traveled him many, many years.
Lee Joe, yeah.
And Lee Joe Young, he's the Travis Tritt drummer. We had him this time on this album.
He's traveling now with Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah, he's working with Tracy Lawrence now. Yeah, but he worked for Travis for 14, 15 years, I guess. Traveled with him, so we got some good players. But when you go from the top, the first word, you really don't know exactly what you got till the public hears it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I like it. So let's get into the album and start talking about the songs. The first one is Pretty Picture. Tell me about that one, Billy.
Well, it's, Scott, like we've talked before, I kind of stick with those songs that come within you and come outside of you know what I mean? I can do a lot of up-tempo songs and everything, and make a lot of covers with music and stuff like that. But, the real country music, the way I see it, started you've got to feel those songs inside you, and they just come to you in certain times when you don't expect it, and they always have meaning. And sometimes I get lucky and I end up get a story out of it. But the first word is the main thing. Without that first word with songwriters, they wouldn't be any stars out there. It takes that first word, and that's the key. So I just kind of stick with those songs that I feel within, and if they turn out good, I'm tickled to death. And I always think my best song is the next one. That's just the way it always is. But
that's a typical
songwriter. I love
music,
and I love to get it out there, and that's where you come in, and DJ Jan trying to help us get it out there, and then the public will decide whether they like it or not. But you have to hear it, and you've got to get it in your head. So that song, Pretty Pictures, you asked a question, it really, I was just sitting around kind of banging on the guitar, and I seen a picture of my late wife, I guess would be what I was looking at, and, she's pretty as a picture, and so that's probably where some of it came from her picture.
Billy, do songs come to you pretty fast, or do you just get an idea and say, okay, I'm going to sit down and write a song, or what's your process when you write songs?
Well, my process is just come up with maybe the first words or the first thought, and then I build from there. And then really, actually, when I end up finishing a song, I've got a stack of papers under my feet that you couldn't imagine how many I throw away. I mean, because I go back and change it, fill it in, change it, fill it in, and then I try to get it to where it works musically, and not too long. We kind of try to work with about 2.5, 3 minutes, and all that stuff. So I do a lot of throwing away on where I do a lot of writing, and just keep banging away at it. And then if I don't get it, then maybe I'll be riding down the road or be somewhere on the road, even on my tractor. I wrote some songs. I just kind of put it in my head and copy it, I guess you might say. Take a picture of it. But the one thing I found out, if you get a good hook in your head, if you don't write it down right then, if you get distracted, you'll never think of that again. It will never come back to you, that hook or that line you're trying to remember. When it's gone, it's gone. Like that song I wrote about my wife, Thanks for the Memories. I was going up to Kentucky, and I pulled in Hardee's, and I was in the line, and I had that song in my head, and I stopped right there, and I thought, I'm not going to hear one word from that lady that says, may I take your order? So I pulled behind the dumpsters, and I wrote that song within 20 minutes. I mean, the whole song, just about, pretty much. So sometimes they come to you fast and good, and sometimes they take weeks and months.
Well, folks, we're talking to Billy Wright tonight, and we're playing all the songs on his brand new album, Now Look at You. It's going to be available on all the streaming platforms, and you can also get in touch with Janice Passons. We'll get that information on our Facebook page for My Kind of Country as well. And if you want to get a copy of this, we'll make sure we get it to you one way or the other. That's for sure. And Billy, you've got I'm going to cover a couple songs in a row here because you got a couple baby songs on here. You got Baby It's You and Hi Baby. Tell me about those.
Well, the second one is Baby It's You. Actually, I wrote that probably, I don't know where that one comes from. It's sort of a honky-tonk.
We were in Knoxville.
In Knoxville.
And it kind of came to you.
I guess it started coming back, maybe coming from Knoxville or something back, and it came. And, of course, when I get it in my mind, I carry a pencil and piece of paper, and I just jot it down. And then when I get home, I go ahead and then try to work on it. And My Heartache's Not Working, that would be the third one anymore. So I don't know about that one.
But Hi Baby.
Well, Hi Baby was about my little dog. That would be the fourth song, Scott. And I would always go into the house. Every time I went in the house, I've got a dog that's about 17 years old now, and I'd always pat her on the head and say, Hi Baby. And that's where that song came from. So we're right there, 4 songs right there. But this project's been in the works for about 3 years because, you know, I had a bad wreck. Somebody run into me, and I was really kind of out of pocket for a while. You know, I just almost got killed in that wreck. Somebody hit me about 75 miles an hour from the back and flipped me over 2 or 3 times. And I woke up, and then I don't know. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember an explosion, and next thing I know, I woke up and there's 10 or 15 people around me, and I don't know. I just went from there.
Man.
But it was a rough one.
Well, I'm glad
So that's why we're waiting 3 years right now because of the accident. Otherwise, I'd had it out a couple of years ago.
Well, it's worth the wait because you got some fantastic songs on here. And Janice, I know that you can back me up on this when I always say Billy's got that cry in his voice, and he's got just that beautiful voice. It draws you right in there. The next song I want to talk about, Billy, is called I Didn't Want to Love You. Tell me about that one.
Okay, I Didn't Want to Love You. I guess that goes back a few years. You know, you hear about people that don't really think about the person falling in love with them until they get to know them, and that's just what works. It's just, but I don't know. I don't know exactly where it comes from. All this stuff, Scott, just comes out from inside me. I don't really sit down and try to write songs. It just kind of flows out of my body, I guess you might say. So, you know, you've met somebody that you never dreamed you'd fall in love with them, and after you get to know them and everything, find out that they're a wonderful person and do a lot of great things in life, and it's easy to love them, you know, a good person. And a good person is real hard to find, you know, that will stick with you and trust you and be your partner 100% no matter what, you know. And it takes a real dedication for a partner or a wife to work with a songwriter and a singer because it's not an easy job.
Folks, we're talking to Billy Wright tonight about his brand new album, Now Look at You. And the next song I want to talk about is another love song I just love. Tell me about that one, Billy.
Well, I guess it's sort of the same thing, kind of repetitive, and it kind of repeats itself. But if you notice, it kind of goes up, it modulates, or not modulate, but it kind of goes up and down. But it's just kind of the way I feel. I just love to love you. I love my dogs. I love my children, my grandchildren, my son, my daughter, you know, and I just, that's just what it came from. So most of that came from my kids and my grandkids, and the things they give me that a lot of people don't get. They give me security and love, and just love to be around them when I get a chance to. A lot of them live different places, but they always come back around, you know. And mine, I got lucky. They don't come back when they need anything. They usually come back to actually see me, and that's a good thing.
Hey, that's nice. Absolutely. That's for sure. That means you did something right. Well, let's talk about the song I Should Have Known.
Well, that one kind of comes from a buddy of mine that ran into a girl one time, and she was I think she was either in jail or prison or something like that, and he was telling me the story about it. And it was one of those deals where he just fell head over heels in love with her and married her, and then about half a year later she ran off with a truck driver or somebody, and he told me he should have known better. So I just kind of, when I went to the house, I said he should have known, you know. But anyway, that story actually came from him, Jesse Parker, that was telling me that story, and I just picked up on bits and pieces. So when I got home or that day working or riding around, I had part of it in my head, and I thought, well, there's something, you know. So I just kind of wrote that down and started playing around with the guitar. Now that one really took a little bit of time. It kind of came to me early, and then it went away, and then it came to me again, and then it went away, and it's one of those kind of deals. And I thought, well, I've got to have something on there different. I just like different stuff. I don't like the stuff that everybody else has got, and I sure don't like to try to sing like other people. So it just came to me a little bit. It took a while. That was one of those probably took a
Satisfied. Man, I love that song. That's one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, Satisfied is. It started out to be kind of an up tempo, but by the time Mike DeVille's and we all kind of played around with it, they kind of mellowed it down a little bit, and then when there's a lot of different ways you can be satisfied. Good food, you can be satisfied. But this particular song, Satisfied, it's a guy that probably was very content in life and he never had any problems. Good marriage, married about 40-something years, and very well satisfied with his whole life. And unfortunately, later on down the line, I think he finally passed away. But he gave me some good pointers on a good marriage and a good relationship and what to do in life, and that's do what your wife tells you to, and you'll always be satisfied.
That's words to live by right there. Folks, we're visiting with Billy Wright and also Janice Passons tonight. We've got the brand new album, Now Look at You, and we're playing every song on the project for you tonight. You can go to all the streaming platforms, and if you want to get a physical copy, just get in touch with Janice Passons, and she'll be able to hook you up with that, and it's definitely one you want to have in your collection, that's for sure. You got to have some drinking songs on here, Billy. You've got one, Sip Me Up. Man, that's a drinking song if I ever heard one right there.
Yeah, we tried to figure out how to, remember that song, Papa Top? We tried to get a beer and sip it out and all that stuff, and Mike worked on it, and he finally just poured a beer out or something. And anyway, but that is a story about a guy that really was having some bad marital problems, so he went into a beer joint and just he started sipping beer, and that's where it came from. So, sip me up, put me down. But anyway, that's I can't remember a whole lot.
Sip me up. I like where there's one part he goes, whoa, 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 kind of out of his element.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't do that intentionally. It just came out my mouth, and I told Mike, I said, I want you to erase that. And he said, oh, no, let's leave it. So, but it's a story of a guy in a bar with getting a draft beer, and he's sipping it up, and then he tells everybody all of his problems, and then he ends up having another round, and then, that's country music right there. There's no doubt about it. That's the real stuff.
Well, folks, we're talking to Billy Wright, brand new album, Now Look at You, and we're playing all the songs off of it for you, and we've got a couple more to talk about. And the next one, Billy, I'm hard-pressed, but I really like Sip Me Up a lot, and I like Satisfied, but I think this one is my favorite on the album. It's called The Best Part of Leaving.
Yeah, Mike DeVille's told me the same thing on that, and a couple of the other guys, Junior Mercer. I mean, he kind of liked it. And Dennis Talley, the boy that played bass for me, he liked it too. And it's kind of a surprise to me because I thought it would be one that probably I didn't like as good as some of the other ones. But it's like everything else. It's everybody has a different taste of music. That's why they make chocolate and vanilla ice cream. Everybody's different, so you hear songs different, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's bad. But the best part of leaving is coming back to you. Is, of course, that there's never was a truer statement. So sometimes when you care about somebody and you have problems down the road, and then maybe you get together or something, and it works out really good. Just like a buddy of mine that went to high school with me. He had a girlfriend in high school, and then her husband died and his wife died, and they got together at one of our reunions, and I don't remember, but I wrote a song about it. I don't remember the name of it, but sometimes the best part of leaving, when you come back from an argument, it's awful good when you make up and it works.
And I've been thinking that's also just a fabulous song, and that. I mean, just the title alone, that opens up a whole lot of possibilities about what the song's going to be about. But tell me about this one.
Don't really know what to say about it. You got anything to say about that one?
No.
Janice, I don't really know. I guess I just maybe sometimes just think a little bit too much. And sometimes when I think too much, I get in trouble for sure. But I don't know. I can't remember what happened exactly on. I've been thinking, but I think it was one of those hard ones that took me a while to write. And I wanted to finish the album, but it really I pushed it a little bit on a few of these songs, so it may show up and it may not. But hopefully I've got a couple of good ones out of the 11 songs. You know, you never know.
Well, I certainly think
Just
so.
never know.
And folks, you can let us know. We're on the chat page tonight, and of course Janice always heads that up for us. And let us know what you think of these great songs. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll make sure that Billy sees all those, and we'd like to know your opinion. Janice, I'd like to talk to you for a minute. Tell me your thoughts on this album, and what maybe some of your favorite songs too.
Well, first, it's been an honor to work with Billy Wright, but it's taken us 3 years, but we never gave up, and he just kept writing them. And I think it's a good album. I'm really pleased that we got it finished. I've got some favorites for sure on there. Baby It's You, I Didn't Want to Love You. There's some more that are special, but they're all special, really, because they come from his heart and how he feels.
That's what Billy's music has always been about. You know, we've had many times that we've talked and played your music on the show, Billy, and you've got real life put to music, like Freddie Hart used to say when you're talking about country music, you know, people put to music. And that's what you do. Your songs are very relatable. They're very, very in-depth, and there's a whole lot of soul and feeling in everything that you do. And the way that you present it with your voice just, I mean, it sells it, man.
Well, you know, Scott, I feel like I'm just a songwriter, not a singer, and the reason why I sing my songs, it's just hard to get somebody to learn them musically and the words and everything and work with you on them. So I just decided about 16 albums ago, I just put them out there, and you know, I just hope one day that somebody, one of my songs will fit their style and be able to do it in their own style. It may be a little different from when I sang it, but I know there's got to be something out there. So some of the singers that have some pull or something like that, if they want to talk to me about recording some of my songs, I'd be happy to talk to them, or DJ Jan would. Either one of us, we could sure entertain in talking to them. The only thing I don't do, Scott, is I don't sell my songs. You know, I spent about 10 years in and out of Nashville back in a few years ago, and got some good vibes from some record labels and everything. But Scott, what they want to do when they get your song, they want to own it. See, and you have to sign your songs over to them pretty much. And those record labels, they may have 20 people if it turns out to be a hit, record that song, and they get all the money. People don't realize that. They get all the money. The only time you make any money at all, hardly, is out on the road. So I just don't, that's why I haven't signed with several major labels back in the early days, because they take your song, they want you to sign their song over to them, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I've got about 198 songs that are copyrighted and completely done, published and everything. And, you know, if somebody wants to, I'll talk to them about it, but I'm not going to give my songs away.
This is the part of the interview where I'm usually wrapping up, but then Janice, we're going to get all done with the interview, and then Janice is going to go, well, we should have talked about this, or we should have said that. So before we even stop the interview, Janice, I want to hear what we missed on the interview that you want to talk about tonight.
Well, I think you've hit all the songs, and you hit them just right. And I think the audience is going to enjoy them for sure.
I tell you, I really forgot something, and I need to mention someone that helped me a lot on this album. She typed up all of my songs and did all my lyrics and everything, and her name is Mary from Kentucky. She worked on every song and typed every song I made and that I wrote, and she always was there if I needed it. And special thanks to Mary up in Kentucky.
Well, all right. I appreciate you guys taking time to be on the show. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for always being so supportive of my show. And Janice, I've said it many times, but thank you so much for always helping out with our chat. And just, you know, you guys are such wonderful, selfless people. You enjoy helping other people, and people like Arnold Connolly, too. We got some great people that we just all love to pitch in and help each other, and I think that's just great. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you, Scott, for everything. And we've got other DJs that are not even with their Ears Radio 1 on My Kind of Country, but they support us too, and we all work together. As I said in one of my posts, today. Expect nothing, but we appreciate everything.
That's well said. Well, thank you so much, Billy. You got a great album here, buddy. Thank you so much for taking time to share it with us tonight on My Kind of Country.
Thank you, Scott, and tell everybody out there I really appreciate their support.